It took me 6 years to hit my first $10,000 month as a video creator, but just because I struggled for that long does not mean that you have to struggle too. In this video, I boiled down the first 3 things that you need to do to hit your first $10,000 a month as a video creator, so let's get into it. Before we even talk about how to get started, you need to realize how big of an opportunity being a video creator is in 2024. Legitimately, 1 in 3 people use YouTube and 1 in 7 people use TikTok on planet Earth, like the entire population of 7 or 8 billion people. With digital video ad spend increasing 20% year over year on average since 2021, there is a massive demand for skilled video creators, just like yourself. And I can tell you firsthand from running a business that produces videos that not only is there a demand for video creators in general, but there's a very, very high demand for video editors, creators, producers, whatever you want to call it, that are extremely talented and extremely good. So let's talk about the things that I know you're struggling with so you can tap into this demand. First up, we have finding your first clients. Now, this is notoriously the most difficult thing. Finding your clients can be challenging, but here's a pro tip: just start for free. I know this probably makes you cringe, but now is more critical than ever to do some free projects. And the reason for that is I cannot count on, if I had 10 hands, how many times I get DMs from people every single day just being like, hey, can I do XYZ for you or whatever? And everyone's offer is starting to look the same. So in order to break through that, you need to just offer work for free upfront in exchange for them being your client later down the line. And because they're free, obviously you have to do a good job still, but it doesn't mean it has to be this huge video. I started doing my business by using emotion array templates to create these free videos, and on average, each video would take me roughly 4 hours from start to finish. Also, another tip not a lot of people talk about is joining a paid community, because inside of this community, obviously you'll be learning other things and how to get better at business and whatever, but inside the actual community, you also might be able to land some of your first paying clients. Last time I joined a paid community, I spent about $11,000, which I know is kind of a lot for some of you, but within a month of joining, I sold about $3,000 worth of video. So I already made about a quarter of my money back. Okay, so now that you have an idea of how to land your first client, whether it's through free work or joining a paid community, now we need to address the elephant in the room that you've probably heard constantly, which is picking a niche. So the thing about picking a niche is if it feels overwhelming to you, you are definitely overthinking it. It's also worth noting that the reason we talked about getting clients before picking a niche is because most of the time I've found with any business really that you're just going to fall into a certain niche naturally based on who you end up attracting as your clients. And down the line, you'll either grow vertically or horizontally when you're scaling, which means you'll either work with the same clients that you originally found and offer them more services, or you will offer the same service across different industries. When you're picking your niche, consider your strengths, weaknesses, and interests, and consider really what you like doing, because when you're picking what kind of companies to work with and what kind of projects to make for them, this is what you're going to be doing for basically your entire day, every day, for maybe multiple years. And it's not to say that you can't change down the line, but just be aware that when you commit to positioning yourself in a market, depending on what kind of videos you edit or create or whatever you're doing, once you become known for that thing, you're going to want to stick with it for a while. One of the easiest ways to figure out what kind of stuff you actually want to make when it comes to videos is just think of your 3 favorite brands, write them down, and then look them up on Facebook ad library, look up their YouTube videos, and see what kind of video content you can find from them. And that should steer you in a clear direction of what kind of style they create that you can replicate and what kind of skills that you need to learn to improve your skills. And speaking of skills, our third and final point for today is actually just getting better at creating, whether it's editing, color grading, producing, whatever you want to call it. You just need to get better at creating these videos. I personally have been in the video industry and doing this stuff for 7 years, and there's still so much stuff that I don't know. In fact, in my business, I actually am running the business and not really creating the videos just myself anymore, because there's people that are better at the kind of videos we're delivering than I am. So once you either have your first free or paid client, you've maybe joined a community, you have looked up your 3 favorite brands, you've seen kind of the work they do. Now you should have a good idea of what kind of like software you need to learn and tools that you need to implement in order to get better at creating your videos. Some popular ones are Adobe Premiere Pro, Adobe After Effects, and DaVinci Resolve. You can also obviously start off on something like CapCut or iMovie or any other free software, but I would just recommend diving into one of those 3 more professional softwares right away so that you're not wasting time down the line on relearning another software. These are the industry standard and what other collaborators you work with or clients you work with are really going to expect that you're using, and they're going to give you the most control over your creative process and your projects. And just keep in mind that the software you choose should be a mix of both how you work best and which one you like best and what kind of videos you're editing, because they are made for different purposes. So for example, if you're editing user-generated content for an e-commerce brand, you're going to want to go with something like Premiere, because After Effects is going to be too technical, and well, yeah, After Effects and DaVinci Resolve are going to be too technical for what you need. And by going with the software that is tailored to that use case, you're going to be able to edit more efficiently, and it's going to be a lot less of an annoying workflow for you. And on the other hand, if you're doing something like strictly color grading, go with DaVinci Resolve. If you're doing strictly motion design, go with After Effects. And this is because these tools are more tailored to those actual types of projects. Once you know what software you're going to go forward with, the last thing is you absolutely need to spend at least 4 hours every day to practice for like a month. At that point, you should have a project or something and you can maybe dial down the practice a little bit, but these softwares can be very complex. They take a long time, and 4 hours is not actually as much time as it sounds like when you are working on some of these. Like I said in the beginning, it used to take me 4 hours to create one like 20-second video, and that was based on a template too. That wasn't even from scratch when I was learning how to do this. So just an FYI. Also, if you choose After Effects, I do have a very detailed course on it in the description below. So be sure to go check that out and let me know if you have any questions on that. So if you nail these 3 elements, you study and practice for 4 hours a day, you join a paid community, I guarantee you there should be 0 reason that you do not get your first client within the first month and hit your first 10K a month in the coming months after that. I do have other videos on this channel that pertain to the actual like business side of things. So I'll link one in the video right here. Be sure to go check that out if you want to learn more about the actual money side of things and making $10,000 plus a month. But just remember, the demand is very high for video editing still, and it's only going to increase as more of the world gets access to internet and things like that, as social media grows. And the resources are available everywhere, not just my channel. Obviously, there's a million other channels on YouTube. There's courses and things like that. So thanks for watching. And as a reminder, hit some of the links in the description below this video for the course, other resources, things like that. Connect with me. It would mean a lot if you subscribed and liked this video, and I'll see you in the next one.